welcome back to another Saber showcase. Today we're going to be looking at the Darkstorm from Sabermach, and before we get straight into the measurements, I'd like to say what you get in the box. Obviously you received the Saber, which was very well packaged. You receive a Sabermach business card, a small baggie with extra auxiliary screws, a charger to connect straight to the charging port in the Saber, an external charger for the battery if you wish to take the battery out or replace it with another one, and a blade. And for reference, this is a 32-inch mid-grade blade, meaning it is built for show and not for dueling. So let's get straight into the measurements. Alright, so let's get in here with the measurements, and if we go from the tip of the Saber to the end of the Saber, it is just a smidge over 11 inches, about 11 and a quarter we'll say. If we pull in the scale, you can see exactly how much it is. Reset it. Reset it 18 times. Bring it on the scale and put it on there. It is about just shy of 14 ounces, 13.93, which puts it at about 0.9 of a pound. So just under a pound, which is a nice weight. And we're going to go ahead and just look at the details on the Saber. In case you're wondering why I'm wearing these white gloves, it's because the Saber absorbs fingerprints because it's entirely plated in rose gold besides the switch here. It's designed to look as if it's one solid piece. There's really only one break, and that's down here, so we can actually get into the chassis. So up here is the screw. That's the auxiliary screw for the blade that you put in. Over here I think is either another auxiliary screw or this actually holds in the LED. I didn't mess with it. This is the auxiliary switch to activate the sound effects. This is the switch to power it on, and I will turn that on after. So let's go ahead and just really take in the design. I think it's quite nice. It's very, very reflective, very, very beautiful. It's very ergonomic as well. It's hard to see, honestly, because you can't really point at it because it all blends into itself with the reflection, but there is a bit of a dip here, a bit of a curve, which is nice. This is obviously angled down here, which feels great to hold in your hand. The speaker ports, nice, so it can be really loud through there. And I'm going to go ahead and open this. I actually opened this a little bit already, just because my hands were sliding with these gloves on, so let's get in here. You can get it really nice and tight when you open it up, and that's just sort of like a plastic coating in there. Put that to the side. So here's the speaker that's attached to the chassis, and we'll just pull this out. One thing that's a neat detail is that this part here actually locks all of this in place. You can kind of loosen that so that you can pull the chassis out. Otherwise it will be locked in depending on if you have that there. So let's flip this around. We can see here is the charging port. You can plug into it with the provided cables. That's the SD card and the sound. And here is the removable battery, though we're going to keep that in. And one thing, I'm going to see if the microphone can pick it up. If you listen closely when I put it back into place, it snaps into place. It's actually really nice. This chassis does not really go moving. Let me see if I can hear the snap when I pull it out. There's the click when you put it in. It's very nicely housed in there. This thing, you can bash this around and drop it and throw it around. Nothing in here is gonna get damaged. The electronics are very well protected. This is honestly, of all the Sabers that I own, probably the most well protected out of all of them. So the system that they're using, that snap is excellent, is just really, really well done. I really wish some other people would adopt that. So we're gonna go ahead and close that up. I'm gonna turn this on for you just so you can see. And that lights up just a standard white color there. So it's nice. Let's go ahead and I'll show you what this looks like fully turned on with a blade in it. Alright guys, here we are in the darkest corner of my house once again, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the Saber. And before I do, I would like to just say that what the camera lens can see is different than what the human eye can see. So the light that you see coming off of the Saber is going to look very white, but just use the colors that are around me on the wall especially to kind of determine what it looks like. Now when I turn this on, it is a deep crimson red for me. Now this Saber is running just a standard tri-cree setup, so no sort of NeoPixel in here at all. It's just a standard flashlight in here, all things considered. nice and responsive. 28mm speaker, I think it sounds really good. Locked up. I think, as I mentioned, this Saber is incredibly ergonomic. When I did the close-up shots, it feels absolutely beautiful in the hand. Of all the Sabers that I own, I personally think that the Darkstorm is the one that feels the best in my hand. And spinning, I'm not good at spinning, but you can, if you're good at spinning, you're going to be able to spin this a lot. So let's go ahead and I'll give you my thoughts on Sabermach and then my final thoughts on the Saber itself. So like with all of my Saber videos, I really want to make sure that you guys are informed customers if you happen to purchase from the same place that I have. And let's take a second to talk about Sabermach as a company. I think they're really cool, they're in Singapore, and I really wanted to, with this Saber, push their department to see how far I could get a custom Saber. Now I asked for a lot of ridiculous things. The wackiest thing I asked for was, could you turn the Darkstorm into a curved Saber? The answer was no. They said not at this time, so maybe in the future, who knows. But there was one thing they agreed to and one thing they flat out said was not a good idea. And the thing they agreed to was very simply, could I change the material? Considering the Darkstorm is supposed to look like one singular piece, it's all cast from one mold, they said, yeah, we can easily change it. What material do you want? I said rose gold, and here we have this beautiful piece here. Now the other thing I asked for was a leather wrap. I wanted a leather wrap on the bottom part of the hilt. They do really good leather wraps on a lot of their designs, and I wanted to see if I could get them to do it. And I got an interesting response. Essentially, the sales team said, yeah, we could do it, but we don't really want to. And when you hear that as a customer, you think to yourself, what do you mean you don't want to? I'm going to give you money. How dare you not do what I ask? But of course I didn't say that. I went, oh, and they said, yeah, we could do that, but we don't personally think that the Saber would look nice with a leather wrap on it. We think it would disrupt the design too much. It just won't look very good. It'll look too fat. And I thought to myself, this is a company that very well could take a bunch of money from me right now. I offered to pay them money for a service, something that they already do, and they said no. They said, I don't really want to do that because it'll not look very nice. And I thought to myself, this is a really cool thing that this company would willingly tell me that they don't really want to do this due to pure artistic integrity. And so I said no. I said I didn't want the wrap. If you guys don't think it's going to look nice, don't put it in. I didn't really care too much about it. I just wanted to see if they would do it. And them telling me no and giving me such an artistic reason really tells me that the company you're buying from is not just a company of mindless drones pumping out Sabers because they're popular. They're doing it because they really care about what they're doing and they really have a passion for the work that they're making. I really care that they care so much about the artistic integrity of the design of the Saber that they would willingly turn down money just to keep that design intact. So I think that's really cool of them, and I'm very happy to say that throughout the pandemic, which is when I ordered this in 2020, they were very good about sending out emails to everybody to let you know when your Saber would be arriving, why there's a delay. Singapore had a lot of restrictions put on what could go in and out of the country, what sorts of businesses could operate, and they were very vocal and very transparent about all of those sanctions and restrictions with every single customer, so I really do appreciate that. Now, the Saber did take 7 months to get to me, but I will tell you, if you order it now, you're probably going to get it a lot sooner than I did. Like I said, there were a lot of restrictions at the time, and if those restrictions have been lifted, then I'm sure you'll get your Saber way before that. So let's go ahead and talk about my final thoughts on the Saber itself, and whether or not I think you should get it, whether or not, who I think it's for, whether or not I think it was worth it. Hazel, you've been in my lap for like 10 minutes. Are you going to let me film the rest of my video, or am I going to have to pet you until my arms fall off? So what are my overall thoughts on the Darkstorm and dealing with Sabermach as a company? Genuinely, I really enjoyed my time talking with them. Their sales team is very passionate about the work that they do. They even personally thanked me for using their custom ordering portal on their site correctly. Apparently most customers don't know how to use their website right, so a personal thank you for them was pretty dope. This Saber is one of the most beautiful ones I have in my collection. It's, funny enough, not just a shelf queen. It's so ergonomically designed and feels so wonderfully just fluid moving in my hand that I can definitely see why Sabermach bills themselves as a company that really specializes in dueling sabers. It's not just a beautiful piece, it's also one that just feels good to wield. I think that Sabermach is really a company you should look into if you're interested in dueling. Even if you just want a first starter saber, they do have a couple of cheap options that I think are worth your time. If you really want to get into dueling and bash people around with your sabers and look pretty cool doing it, I think Sabermach is a good company to look for. And in this video, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but yeah, I'm definitely about to toot my own horn. You'll notice that my saber here is made entirely of rose gold. I pointed it out a few times in the video. Now, when I ordered this saber a year ago, the Darkstorm only came in two options. You could get it in a standard gray, and you could get it in a reflective black chrome. And I just wanted to point out the fact that after your boy ordered a custom rose gold plated Darkstorm, all of a sudden on their website that became an option for you to just put in. You didn't need to put in a custom order. It's just a clickable thing that anybody can do now. So I'm not saying you're welcome, but I'm definitely saying you're welcome. That was entirely due to me, and I'm pretty cool. But I hope you guys had a good time with this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good rest of your night.